Hey everybody, it's me, that Weasel, and welcome to another episode of Feeding the Trolls. Now I know I just did CC like last week or 2 weeks ago, but to be honest, his channel is just a fucking goldmine. There's so many different things to choose from, which might sound like a problem, except I have awesome fans, and someone's already picked out the penultimate CC video for me, thus saving me hours of brain rot. Apparently, this video of his is basically the only video of his you ever need to see, so I am very interested.
Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you may be.
Well, it's 8:35 a.m., so like last time, this is the morning.
Well, same day.
Well, no, this isn't the same day.
Same time.
Now, I think last time I started recording at 8:55, so no, not the same day, not the same time.
This is not to scale.
The pumpkin is not to scale. Is it supposed to be bigger?
Of course.
What does the pumpkin represent? Is it the earth? Is it the sun? Is it like the moon, an object? Is it a person? It's not part of you, is it?
When I grew up,
I used to hang out in a cemetery waiting for the great pumpkin to come by and make all my Halloween wishes come true. And then one day, a pumpkin fell from a plane and hit me on the fucking head. And it actualized all my wishes. And everything's purple now.
the solar system was stationary.
And rotating around a pumpkin, which is why every October we carve pumpkins and then put them outside, so the sun knows what'll happen if it ever crosses us.
Alright, honey, come on.
What?
The sun was standing.
Why don't you stop this bullshit? Idiot.
Yo, dude, do you like, wanna go outside or turn the camera off or whatever? I just feel like this is something we shouldn't really be listening to. This seems like a domestic thing. This reminds me of when my housemates would fight. I'd be in the kitchen holding a pumpkin and they would start shouting at each other. It's very relatable.
Can you give me like 5 minutes?
No, you've had it all morning, and I'm just freezing, and I'm hungry, and
You've been in this kitchen setting up this video all fucking morning? Yeah, it took me like 30 minutes to put all this stuff together, but I got like a mic and like lights, and I gotta make sure the software's working, and I gotta clean up the fucking background. You put a camera up in your kitchen. Now maybe I don't know all the ins and outs of CC's extensive production pipeline, but I'm firmly in the, I don't know who this is supposed to be. I'm in her camp, though.
it's time to start cleaning the house.
Yeah, I would maybe have stopped that there. The real question is, though, why did you post that? That seems embarrassing. These weren't live streamed, or at least I don't think these were live streamed. And even if they were, you can delete those. So why record this and then put it on your channel? That would be like if one of these monitors fell off my desk and I was just like, great, now I'm fucked. And then I turned off the camera and then I just put this up with no editing, no introduction, just Weasel's monitor falls off desk, LOL, and just posted it. I mean, maybe that would have made a good April 1st video. So anyway, that was short, kind of like too short. I don't really want to post a video that's 2 minutes long, so I don't know, let's find another one? But what could the topic be about? Because I can't just find another flat earth video. That'd be too similar, easy. So it's gotta be like a similar flavor of science denial. You know, something that's overtly obvious and yet people still will argue about it. Like the existence of dinosaurs.
Dinosaurs are fake.
No, they're not. In fact, I have a dinosaur. Look at him. Aw. He's upset because multiple once-in-a-lifetime economic disasters have happened and his future's fucked. Isn't he cute? You just want to squeeze his face.
All they told me growing up, that dinosaurs existed and then they became extinct.
Yeah, that's what happens when there's no more of a certain living organism around. That organism is now extinct. Except in the case of dinosaurs, not quite. It depends on how you classify birds.
They never talked about the first person to discover them.
That's because we don't know who that person was. I mean, yeah, Robert Plot found the, ball sack bone, but people have been finding fossils all over the place for as long as people have been around. The Chinese used to dig them up and then grind them up and drink them.
The person who discovered those giant bones, his name was Robert Plot. But what he saw wasn't a giant reptile.
No, it definitely was part of a giant reptile. He just thought it looked like a piece of a giant human for the same reason that the fossil was later called, and I'm not joking, Scrotum humanum. I'll, let you guess why it was called that.
To him, he said it looked like a giant human. They tell us dinosaurs went extinct 65 million years ago.
66 million years ago. But, what's a million between friends?
After living 150 million years on the Earth.
Yes, the dinosaurs existed for a very long time. That's not really surprising.
And a devastating asteroid hit planet Earth.
Yes, it hit planet Earth, as opposed to planet Mars.
Causing volcanic eruptions and lava to spread across the floor and the face of the universe.
The face of the universe? The face of the universe. I wasn't aware that the entire universe was encased in fucking lava. No, it did not cover the universe in lava. It didn't even cover the Earth in lava. The impact probably would have started volcanoes around the epicenter and on the opposite side of the planet due to shockwave propagation. The shockwaves traveled around. It's like water. It traveled around the Earth and then, boom, they met and that would have caused... The point is, the Earth wasn't covered in lava.
Which forced climate control.
Yes, the universe was covered in lava, which forced climate control. All the dinosaurs were like, man, everything's covered in lava. Guess we need to pass some climate control regulation.
So we have the technology to cover 200 million years of a species' existence?
Why, yes, we do have the technology called shovels. Amazing, isn't it?
But don't have the technology to figure out who put the pyramids here a couple thousand years ago?
The Egyptians.
I never knew lava can leave back bones perfectly when it burns at 2200 degrees.
It doesn't. But fossils weren't formed because of lava. Who taught you?
But the incinerator we use at funeral homes turns bones into ashes.
Okay, well, they don't, actually. There's usually a lot of bone left, which is why it's fed through a grinder. Sorry for that image. And two, the world wasn't covered in lava. What are you fucking talking about?
And yet it burns at a less degree than lava.
Yeah, it burned at less degree than lava. There are so many levels wrong. I don't even know where to start. Okay. I guess I'll start with the technical shit about the difference between a crematorium and just a pool of lava. So, crematoriums are engineered to have a more or less consistent high temperature over a long period of time, which is why they're able to incinerate things, all right? Lava is just a pool of hot liquid, but it does not necessarily have a uniform temperature, which is why sometimes lava doesn't burn everything. A crematorium forces airflow, which means the fire inside has a constant, steady supply of oxygen. Lava is just hot. But that doesn't even matter because the Earth wasn't covered in fucking lava. But let's just say that it was. Let's say that the asteroid hit and the Earth was covered in lava, which doesn't make any fucking sense, but let's just say it happened. That would not negate the hundreds of millions of years prior to the impact, where fossilization occurred. So even if the Earth was covered in lava, and it wasn't, there would still be fossils. There probably wouldn't be anyone to dig up the fossils because covering the Earth in lava is a pretty good way to sterilize it, but there would still be fossils.
And they also tell us we roughly discovered 1,000 different species.
We've discovered way more than 1,000 different species in the fossil record. But your Google question was, how many dinosaurs are there? And the results came up as estimates vary, but in terms of extinct non-avian dinosaurs, about 300 valid genera and roughly 700 valid species. And the way you interpreted the number 700 was about 1,000? I'm not sure that math will work out with your landlord, but you're welcome to try.
How did that many bones get left behind?
Well, you see, there was a whole planet of organisms, and over the course of hundreds of millions of years, a lot of those organisms died and were buried. And then a few of those buried bodies became fossils. And if you take a very small cross-section of all of those fossils over the course of 100 million years, you'll end up probably with about 1,000 different species, covering, 100 million years of history.
Here's where all the confusion starts to make sense, because God mentions there being giants right before the flood.
Yes, it sure does mention that there were giants before the flood. And apparently one of those giants died and had their ball sack preserved.
In the book of Enoch, God mentions how big these giants were.
Okay, I can just throw a random fucking number out there too. 100 feet. There. If you find anything, be sure to only interpret it in the manner that I just said, 100 feet. Just,
So that makes total sense.
The universe was covered in lava, therefore giants are real. And one of them had balls.
Because the first person to discover dinosaurs thought they were giant humans.
Well, yes, that's how science works, after all. The first person to discover something automatically just gets to decide everything about that thing. That's why fire is still an element, and space is actually a fluid, and maggots appear spontaneously, and the Earth is actually flat.
They actually were. You just gotta think. If somebody drowns, their body will be left behind. If they burn, how's their bones left behind perfectly to be carved and displayed?
Oh my god, you really do think that the Earth was covered in fucking lava, don't you?
I did some more digging.
Did you now?
They didn't display the first dinosaur until 200 years after discovering it.
Yeah, because they didn't know what the fuck it was. And science museums weren't really a thing in the 1600s.
The dinosaurs that you see in museums aren't really bones at all. They're made through fossilization.
God, your fucking brain. All right. I gotta stop again. All right, so number one, actually they're not. Most of the bones you see in museums, especially the really big rigged up ones, are not fossils. They're plaster casts of fossils. The reason museums do this is because fossils are rock, like he says. And rock is really fucking heavy. And if something happens, like with a T-Rex skull just falling down onto a concrete floor and shattering, that would really suck. Because T-Rex skulls are kind of rare. So they make plaster casts, so the thing is easier to rig, and if it falls and breaks, just get another plaster cast. But if you really want to see dinosaur bones, most museums do have real dinosaur bones on display. Now, yes, they are fossils because that's how that works. But if you really want to see a fossil, you can do that. In fact, not only can you go to a museum, but if you got the money and it doesn't cost a whole lot, you can go buy a dinosaur bone. You can go on eBay, you can go on Amazon, and you can buy a real dinosaur bone and touch it.
Fossilization is the remains or impression of a prehistoric organism.
Preserved in the rock over millions of years, not rolled over by lava. You idiot.
See, the truth is, they were giant humans.
Where are you? What? How are you justifying saying that?
God knows they were giant humans, and our world does too.
They weren't. You buffoon. They weren't. Not unless they had a lot of calcium in their semen.
But the devil doesn't want you to know.
The devil doesn't want you to know the majesty of this obviously preserved human scrotum. Stop making me actually want them to ban TikTok. Anyway, this is That Weasel. If you like that video, like, comment, subscribe down below. And hey, if you really want to support this channel, you can on Patreon like these folk. Look at them go. I bet you they all have their own fossilized scrotum. Also, a shout out to Jetrinius, who I commissioned to make this really cool looking raptor version of me. As time goes on, I'm gonna try and get the full set so I can use him kind of like how I use the Weasel PNG in videos that I haven't produced in like a year. And as always, have a good day.